collection. I'm here with the first episode today on the Ojibway prairies. I'm pretty much just going to be breaking down the specific ecosystem, the soil texture, the topography, and then like a list of species that I've seen in this site. And then I'm going to pretty much break down 3 species in a brief description. This is the first episode, so deal with me on my pronunciation and stuttering and stuff. No matter how much I do it, I'm not going to get it. So yeah, enjoy. So pretty much this ecosystem, it's considered an oak savanna. You can see here it's got the savanna setting where it's fairly open. The canopy is like dappled. It's mainly dominated by oaks, as it says in the name. I've seen 7 different oak species on this site. And there's also other species that occur, obviously, but that is like your dominant tree. The savanna setting is really great setting, as it opens up the canopy for like grasses and wildflowers to come through. So you get like staggered, like you got like the tree, you got the shrub, and then you know what I mean, wildflowers and grasses and stuff, and it's stunning. It actually needs prescribed burns, this area, to knock back the grasses, because the grasses can get a little out of hand. They little overpowered, but you pull back you knock them back, and then it adds carbon when you burn them, and then it opens up that seed bank and stuff, so wildflowers can pop up and get an advantage above the grass in that new season. So it can get pretty diverse, which is awesome. That's what makes this ecosystem so special. But yeah, so now I'll get into the 7 oak species that I've seen there. I've seen the dominant species I've seen, though, was the black oak, which is Quercus velutina. And then I've seen like swamp white oak, Quercus bicolor, northern red oak, Quercus rubra, white oak, Quercus alba, Chinquapin Oak, Quercus muehlenbergii, pin oak, Quercus palustris, burrow, Quercus macrocarpa. Other species I've seen on the site were Shagbark Hickory, Carya ovata, black cherry, Prunus serotina, green ash, Fraxinus, pennsylvanica, Sassafras albidum, slippery elm rubra, dogwood species, Prunus, Cottonwood, Populus deltoides, Sandbar Willow, Salix exigua, eastern Red Cedar, Juniperus virginiana, Staghorn Sumac, rhus white birch, Betulia papyrifera. Now I'm going to get into the soil texture, which I actually got from a soil map of Essex County, which I'll leave the link below. There was 2 soil textures present on the site, berry and sand, and the second was plain field sand. Berry and sand texture is quote-unquote brown sand over yellow, and then molted sand with clay about 6 feet deep, 3 to 6 feet deep, being stone-free. The drainage is poor, and the nutrient lacking is phosphate. The plain field sand, quote-unquote light brown and yellow sand over gray sand, is subject to drifting. Drainage is good to excessive. It lacks phosphate as a nutrient also. But this area actually has a crazy amount of leaf litter and like organic matter at the end of the year, where like from the grasses to the wildflowers, when they die back, they fall, like all the stuff falls to the earth, and the same with the leaves. And that helps the fungus and the microbes go crazy, and they break down those nutrients that are locked in those leaves. And it creates like a thick humus on the soil, and it's really, really nutrient rich. So it's actually like the soil is crazy here. So now I'm going to touch on the topography of the area. Most of it's fairly flat. It only slopes 5 meters throughout the whole site. It slopes north to south, north being the highest point and south being the lowest point. The highest point is 181 meters above sea level, and the lowest point is 176 meters. The lowest point is where the retention pond runs off to in pools, where all the water runs off to the retention pond, I should say. Throughout the site too, you get these little pockets and dips where it creates like a little lowland where like water can get, like it gets more the water holds more, and the water kind of runs into there, and like that opens up doors for different species to thrive in the area. Now that I kind of broke down the ecosystem, I'm going to go to a brief description of 3 species I really like from the area. These are brief descriptions, and I got my main reference from the Audubon Society Field Guide of North American Trees and Shrubs, the Eastern Edition. Great source of info. Kind of just a brief description, though. I could definitely go more into it, but we're just going to keep going. So, the first species is the Cottonwood, Populus deltoides. The species is absolutely massive, as you can see here. They just grow really, really tall, up to 30 meters, and then their trunks get very, very large. They're just absolutely like monsters, as you can see on these 2 photos. Their leaves are very, very, I can always see them. They stick out like a sore thumb. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's triangular and then curved, coarse teeth, but I think it just looks like somebody like took those old scissors from back in the day that cut those waves into the paper and pretty much just went at it. I think they're like super memorable, and they're really, really nice. I think I very, very much enjoy them. This tree is like crazy. Its bark is like a yellowish green and smooth at youth, and then light gray and deeply furrowed with age. Furrowed just means it's like very, very deep ridges, as you can see. The flowers, you usually not see them because this is the male flower. The red one is the male flower, and that's not the full flower. This actually got knocked down in a windstorm, and so I was able to see it. This is not the full growth. These are just like kind of the breaks of the bud, but they're very, very nice. They have a beautiful red to them, like almost like a burgundy, a little bit deeper than burgundy. But yeah, they are really, really nice. I very much enjoy this tree even just for this. I also actually have a female flower here too. That this is like the cat skin look and stuff pretty much, and it's already going to seed, so it's already finished its flower and stuff. But very, very nice. You can see the leaves breaking too, about to come out for spring because this was in spring. The habitat, it's usually bordering streams and wet soil in valleys, and it's usually in pure stands, often with willows. It's a pioneer species in sandbars and bare flood plains. And in this area, I've seen it in the retention pond area, which makes sense. And I've seen it in pure stands too, which makes even more sense. It's actually so crazy seeing them all together, bunched up together like that. Super cool tree. So yeah, now I'm going to get into the black oak, which was the most common oak on the site, which I thought was the best way to kind of break it down. It gets to heights of 15 to 24 meters. The leaves are lobed like most oaks, either shallow or deep lobes. The leaves are glossy green on top, and then underneath is yellow and green. No, it's yellow green with brown hairs. With oaks too, I find like I compare like the leaf to the bark and stuff, and like if I'm having trouble with the leaf, I'll look at the bark, and the bark will tell me what species it is, because like the bark is usually pretty different on a lot of them, some of them for the most part, and then the leaves are usually different, but sometimes they're close, and then you can compare the bark, and then sometimes the bark is close and you can go back. So that's what I've learned. So that's kind of a little pointer that might help, because they are kind of a hard species, like genus to kind of get into. You're like, oh my god, like there's so many of them I didn't even realize. Everyone just thinks oaks and stuff, but they're very, very interesting though. Just a little. They're not that hard. Just do it. I actually have. I'm going to get into the bark first. Sorry. The bark on this species is gray and smooth on a young tree, as you can see here. This is a young tree, and then blackish and roughly deeply furrowed with the age. It's kind of have like that blackish tint, but yeah, see, it's like deeply furrowed and stuff. So, I actually have a picture of the flower, which you usually don't do oaks by flower because they're inconspicuous like this. They're super hard to kind of go by, and they're usually way up in the tree anyway, so it's just like one of those things. But I actually have a good picture of this black oak, this flower, which is super nice. Super classic tree. So this is because it's in the spring, so a lot of people ended up missing it too. But yeah, so now I'm going to go into the habitat of this species. Which is dry upland sandy slopes, and also occurs on clay hillsides, which is actually almost a perfect description of this area, as it is slightly sloped and it is all sand uplands. Has sand uplands, and that's usually where I see it, is on the north side. Obviously, it occurs throughout the whole, like most of the site, but it is very dominant on the north side. Next species I'm going to go into is the Staghorn Sumac, rhus tafina. Super nice tree. It's super common too. Like once you see it, you'll not unsee it. It's everywhere. But it is considered a shrub. It has a flat, irregular crown, usually in dense stands. From what I've seen, it's usually in like massive patches. It's in massive patches on the north side of this site actually, and that's like kind of like upland. That's where I see it. It gets to heights of 9 meters, and the leaves are pinnately compound with soft hairs at the axis, so there'll be little hairs kind of in between the leaves and stuff. The leaves are also slightly curved and like almost stalkless. They are dark green and sawtooth. The bark is a dark brown, smooth, and becoming scaly. The flower here is actually so beautiful. It's a cluster of flowers, and it's all composed of very tiny flowers. So, from my assumption, there's no proof on this. I could be wrong. From what I researched, I couldn't really find the differentiate on the flower because it actually has the male and female. The flowers occur on both trees. Just like the Cottonwood, I forgot to mention that. But I pretty much did, but without saying it. And so yeah, this flower I believe is the female, because it has like the styles and stuff like that from what I can tell, and that's what I seen when I looked it up, because I'm guessing it was only the female flower that it showed me. And then this one is the male flower, and it has like those little red hues, and then so the reason I think this is the male too, because it has antlers, which is a part of the stamen, which is the male reproductive. So just an assumption, but I think I'm right. So the habitat of this is actually open uplands and edge of forests and roadsides and old fields, which makes sense in this area too, because it's open like a savanna, so you get those. It's almost like everywhere's a forest edge. But yeah, so pretty much that's that. I hope you learned something, and I hope this episode was like informational. I'm planning to come back with more. It's going to be kind of different each time. It's kind of breaking down. I'm going to break down this ecosystem a little bit more and make it more understandable. And yeah, hopefully this brought you something. But yeah, thank you for everything. This is the first episode. Have a great day. Enjoy some beats as the fucking video cuts out. Ciao.